Hello, welcome back to my channel. Good to see you here again. Today's Film Thursday, and I have this old piece of board that was on the back of one of those Calyx units. Well, I didn't need them on there because I've got the baskets in, and I'll be able to pull them from either side. So I thought, what can I do with these? And I made myself a little doodle. This is going to change. It always does. Whatever I draw, it changes. And this board's quite shiny, so it does take me quite a while to get the coats of paints down. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have sanded it down first. But no, why would I do that? That just makes sense. So, today's film, I don't know if you can tell by the doodle what it is, but it is one of the utmost favourites of mine with stop-go animation by Ray Harryhausen. I say by him, he did all the stop-go animation. It's a film from 1963, and he actually created the stop-go animation called Dynamation, and he's inspired lots of people like Tim Burton, Nick Parks. I'm gonna say this, and I never say his name right, so bear with me. Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, I think that's him. From Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, Pinocchio recently, and brilliant stuff. But to watch the animation in this film, it's from 1963. It's absolutely inspiring. It's amazing how real life and animation was put together so at that time effortlessly. I mean, don't get me wrong, these days things are way above and beyond what it was then, but you've got to think this is 1963, and he was an absolute star at what he did. He also acted a little bit. You probably have heard his voice in Elf. He was the polar bear. He was also in a film where he played a barman. Beverly Hills Cop 3. That's another one of my favourites. I've got too many favourites. But anyway, the story, it's it's about Greek gods, and they're basically playing a game of chess with human beings, moving pawns across a map. There's lots of creatures in this. It's fascinating, and it's all about Jason and the Argonauts. The picture that you've got on there, that's the Iron Giant statue called Bugum. What's it called? Oh, my brain's gone, and I only watched it a couple of days ago. Talos, and that's the black line you can see is his head, and that'll be a shadow on here. While I was drawing, I baked my pieces that I made. Now, don't get me wrong, the bones and the skull and the bat wings were from a mould, but the rib cage and the hand and the sword and the shield and the crown I made myself. Um, I love the Skeleton Army. The Skeleton Army is created when Jason fights to get the Golden Fleece from the Hydra, the thing with the several heads. Looks like a snake with dragon heads. And when he slays the Hydra, the teeth are taken away and put into the ground, and this creates the undead army. And then he has to fight these. But I'm jumping ahead. There's also other films that Ray Harryhausen's done. Clash of the Titans, which was his last film, by the way. Mighty Joe Young. These are all old, not the original. These are the originals. Voyages of Sinbad. There's quite a few of those, and there's it came from beneath the sea. 1 million years BC. He's done a fantastic job with them. See, that's Hydra. But the woman who plays Hera, she's on a Blackman, and she's always had this twinkle in her eye. I thought this naughty little twinkle, and she does well in this because she's only supposed to give Jason 5 chances of help. And she bends the rules a little bit here and there, so she doesn't actually give him standard help. She kind of pushes him towards somebody that will get him the help a lot of times, like the blind man, the blind seer, who's been sort of like banished and made blind because he was using his powers for the wrong reasons. So he gets tormented by the harpies. Now, the harpies is a creature that attacks him every time he tries to go for food, and they take his food away from him. The flying bat-like creatures. But Sinbad, wrong film. Jason helps to get that sorted, and he gives him a talisman. And he ends up having to go to Clashing Rocks, and this is where they watch as the Clashing Rocks destroy a ship right in front of their eyes. And he starts to go forward in his ship, and he realizes they're not going to survive. So he gets face on basically and throws his talisman in the water. Now, this talisman is to summon the king of the seas, Poseidon. And Poseidon holds back the Clashing Rocks so that they can get through. And in doing so, they rescue 2 people. I think it's 2. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2. And one of them is Medea, and she takes them to where the Golden Fleece is. Now, all along the way, there is a little pain in the butt who's trying to stop Jason from getting anything. So he wants to stop him from being able to take over his kingdom. See, his own father killed Jason's father and was going to kill him when he was a baby, but Hera stopped it. And she also threatened him that one day a man with one sandal would kill him. And 20 years later, up pops Jason again. But there's so many different things in this film that I'm in awe of. It is just a wonderful piece of art. And there's also a really great old English actor called Lawrence Naismith. Now, Lawrence Naismith, he builds the boat, and he is just an amazing actor. He was in Greyfriars Bobby, the original, and my all-time favourite, The Amazing Mr. Blunden. And that one makes me cry. Oh, it's so sad, but so sweet. Um, all old films. I'm such an old fairy. I really am. But this film, I always felt like it needed another film made after, and I don't know if it ever was. I certainly don't think I've seen it, and I've tried looking, but I couldn't find it. But anyway, going back to the skeleton army, he defeats them by jumping into the sea. So, of course, that's the end of them. I don't know how that works, but it did. And they sail off into the sunset on his boat on the way home to his kingdom. See, I wanted to know what would happen after that, how he would get his kingdom back. I mean, the fleece was supposed to give him wealth and power and be able to make his kingdom great again. But you don't see that. It's like it's your first parter, but they don't finish it off. So I was a bit, I mean, I was a kid when I watched it first, and I was a bit like, what happens here? What's going to happen next? When's the next one? I mean, this was made well before I was born, um, and I still wanted to know more. But I've always had a fascination with Greek gods, and Vikings, and anything different to the norm. Oh, and these fins, that is to represent the king of the sea, Poseidon. And here I am trying to paint me bits and bobs just to get them to be distressed. Look like they've just come out of the ground, basically, dirty. And it took a few times before that shield would finally stay on. But it's on now, it's permanently on, so that's good. But I'm going to leave you with music, and I'm going to say thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed this. If you did, can you please like, subscribe, and I shall leave you with the music and some pictures at the end.